What is going on, everyone? Happy tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your hosts today. And today, like every day, we're coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas, Nevada with our daily live show. Big show today. We are extremely excited. We have a very special guest joining us in about 1 hour. She was a former lawyer at the Securities and Exchange Commission. She's a leading voice in the blockchain space. We got some questions on FTX, regulation, the Ripple case, so much to talk about. We're also talking about regulation in general. New York passes their moratorium on crypto banning or crypto mining ban, and much, much more. But before we can talk about that and, excuse me, much, much more, I have to introduce you to your other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, and we package it up in a fun and sexy way. And Bitcoin is pumping today, man. Over 16,000. We might have hit the bottom yesterday. What is your, if you had to flip a coin? Actually, no, not flip a coin. If you had to give your opinion. Bottom in, bottom not in. Yesterday.
Not in.
Not in? Okay. I don't think it's in either.
Like you already knew the answer to that question.
No,
You still decided to ask it.
I didn't know. You know, you were sitting here for like 3 months talking about the bottom was in, guys. The bottom was in.
Yeah, that's before
And
FTX.
I kept pushing back. And I was like,
Oh, you're saying you saw the FTX thing coming?
I saw it all coming. You know what?
Well, we know who did see it.
I was FaceTiming with Sam Bankman-Fried all last month. And I knew something was up.
Yeah, sure you did. Oh, man. Big Chili Willie just started the day off with a $20 super chat.
Just came in here throwing money.
My dude, we appreciate your Big Chili Willie. Thank you so much. Big Chili Willie has been part of our community for a long time, as have a lot of you. So you've been here with us since we had 5 people in the chat. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you're new here, welcome to the Sinner community. You are officially a sinner.
Speaking of new, we do have, I'm just going to go ahead and throw some shout outs real quick. So we got Ad Yos and Vitality B, and then also Ryan, Carolyn, and Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
So we have, we're going to start off with some SBF. Okay. Just an update. We're not going to spend the whole show, obviously. But he was spotted. He was spotted with his parents. Yeah. So here we go. This is from That Martini Guy on YouTube. Sam Bankman-Fried, his mom, and his dad all spotted at his Bahamas penthouse. And here we are. Look how stressed he is. Oh my God, I just lost $10 billion. Oh my God, I'm really hungry. Maybe I should go for a run.
You think he's eating lobster? Is he picking his butt?
I don't know.
No, is that his mom?
Here's his mom saying, and they still have FTX shirts on.
$10 billion, they're not his money, though.
Oh my God. Let's just sell those shirts and give it back to the investors. And then here is Papa, Joseph Bankman. Looks like he's on the phone with the cleanup guy.
He kind of looks like the cleanup guy.
From Pulp Fiction. Yeah, he does actually.
Gary Gensler on the other side.
He's like, Dad, I got a mess here. He's like, I got this, son. Hold on.
Let me call Gary.
All right. He's like,
Gary, what's going on here? Joe?
I feel like he would have nicknames for Gary. Like, he's like, G-Stacks. Like, listen.
G-Stacks.
G-Stacks.
No,
we got an issue, all right?
Yeah, gun. All right. So Sam also, he sent a letter to his employees. Okay. Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Nice.
On a side note, I'll keep it very vague and brief, but we did get an offer to go down.
Keep it very vague.
Very vague. We did get an offer
at 1 a.m. almost
to go down to the Bahamas in a. I'll just leave it at that. We had an opportunity to go down to the Bahamas this weekend to
do some stuff
to get some more answers. Just put it that way. But we'll leave it at that. But unfortunately, because family's in town, we had to pass on this one. Even though we really didn't want to. But,
and I don't even have a passport.
I was ready to go, man. I was ready to go. And you know what? My son is visiting from.
Man, what is these kids are always holding us back?
Yeah, so son was visiting from out of town, so I can't pass up an opportunity to spend some time with the family. So
why they always hold?
But man, I was this close to going to Bahamas, bro.
Like, hey, don't worry. After Thanksgiving, it will be still there.
Yeah,
it's still there.
I think so. Yeah,
we'll see. All right. So, like I was saying, Sam Bankman-Fried, he did put a letter to his staff. And in there, he said maybe there's still a chance to save FTX. Former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried recently sent a letter to the company employees. A couple highlights here. The former crypto billionaire, said that FTX could still have value. He claims that investors were poised to pour billions of dollars in at the time of the bankruptcy declaration. This is a direct quote from Sam. Quote, we likely could have raised significant funding. Potential interest in billions of dollars in funding came in roughly 8 minutes after I signed the Chapter 11 documents. So 8 minutes before he declared bankruptcy, there was billions of dollars. And he declared bankruptcy. And so if you remember in his Vox interview he did via Twitter DM, which is the weirdest thing I've ever seen, he said that his biggest regret was filing for bankruptcy because he gave power up.
Oh,
So this is the kind of guy we're dealing with. He added that between these funds, the remaining collateral, and interest from other parties, quote, we probably could have returned large value to customers and saved the business. What are your thoughts on this, Robin? It's obvious what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to make it seem, because he's going to go stand trial unless he cuts the deal.
Well, okay. So my thoughts on this being some kind of actual facts is delusional. And that I'll say that first. Obviously, I think we all share the same idea. I hope we do. That there ain't no saving FTX. That thing is toast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way out for him, right?
Zero.
Okay. So
I mean, that shouldn't even be a question.
Yeah. I just wanted to address that first. I think it's a PR stunt. You know, I think Sam Bankman-Fried has to know he ain't that delusional. I mean, as crooked as he is,
all that Adderall.
I think he is not that delusional that he doesn't. I think he realizes that it's toast. His time in crypto is probably toast. And whatever he's saying at this point that is positive for FTX's future, as far as it being sustainable and people being made whole, I think it's all a front for him to not seem as corrupt as he is, or maybe to not put the fraud front and center and maybe seem like he was innocent. And hey, I messed up. He's trying to paint this narrative like, hey, I messed up. You know, we positioned ourselves in the wrong financially. We over leveraged ourselves. We took risks we didn't need to. I messed up here and there, and that's how we got to where we are. I think that's what he's trying to portray. However, what actually happens is he has been frauding people. He's been stealing people's money. And anybody that had money on FTX, anybody that had money on FTX, your money has now been compromised and is being used, as we just showed, for your dinners, for his parents' lavish homes. He bought over, was it $150 million worth of houses, 12 different properties. The biggest one being $125 million home for his parents. And, you know, don't get it twisted. His dad was also working with FTX, so he wasn't that he was free of being part of the scheme. It wasn't like his dad was just shaking his head and was out of state like, what did my son do? Like, no, he actually worked there. And then his mom was a compliance lawyer, right? Something like that. So she does compliance and law when it comes to regulation. So I'm not too familiar on her job duties, so I'll leave it at that. But I don't know.
It's definitely it's a family affair.
It runs in the family. That's right.
It does. All right, so let's move on to Mr. Tom Emmer, okay? And let's take a look. So we know Tom Emmer has been a staunch ally of cryptocurrency, right? He's from the House of Representatives. This is from March 16th. My office has received numerous tips from crypto and blockchain firms that SEC Chair Gary Gensler's information reporting requests to the crypto community are overburdensome, don't feel particularly voluntary, and are stifling innovation. He goes on to say, in the same, this is why I sent a bipartisan letter to Gary Gensler with these following representatives regarding the SEC's crypto information seeking process. While the SEC has authority to obtain info from market participants for rulemaking purposes, it must ensure that these inquiries don't infringe on the standards established in the Paperwork Reduction Act, which limits the burden the government imposes on private businesses and citizens. Now, we know after the whole FTX thing came about that Emmer called out Gary Gensler. He said, hey, man, what's going on? Something's fishy. We're going to investigate this. And Mr. Emmer was on Fox Business earlier, believe it was today. And this was what he had to say. And so let's go ahead and just get right into it.
Joining me now, Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer. First of all, congratulations on your new role as Majority Whip. I can't wait for some of the ideas that you're going to bring to that job. But I want to talk about this because you've been at the forefront of this long before the you-know-what hit the fan. Let's start by playing a portion of a recording of a conversation that was recalled by CME President Terry Duffy. And it's got some shocking things in here about a conversation he had with Sam Bankman-Fried. Take a listen.
Let me be your risk manager. I'll clear it to make sure it's done properly. He says, well, you won't deploy my model. I said, your model is crap. Why would I deploy a model that's going to introduce risk to the system? He turned me down, flat out turned me down. And that's right away I said to him, I said, you know what, you're a fraud. You're an absolute fraud. I went to Congress. I've never seen a Washington, D.C. like I saw that time, from the regulators to the members of Congress singing hymns that I never heard before. He said that you could lose 85 to 90% of your value overnight. And I said, he will not commit to keeping this just to crypto. I said, the reason is because he wants to deploy it across all asset classes. I said, that is a biblical disaster if you people allow this to happen.
I guess the question, Congressman, is why did you people allow this to happen?
Well, we did not. And Terry is a good friend. He does a great job at CME. He's one of the good guys in the marketplace. And it's interesting because we've had a good relationship for the last couple of years. You can ask Terry. My office has been heavily involved in this area, as you know, Charles. For more than just the last couple of years. We've been heavily involved since I came to Congress several years ago. Terry never said that directly to me, but I'll tell you what, Terry is one of the good guys. And when he goes to Sam Bankman-Fried and he offers him tens of millions in customer accounts in returns for managing his risk, and Sam Bankman-Fried turns him down, he's got the right to have the red flags go up. This literally is not just a failure of FTX, it's a failure of CFI, that's known as centralized finance. It is not a failure of crypto. This is a failure of, it's a failure of Sam Bankman-Fried. It's a failure of business ethics, and it's a failure of the government oversight and regulatory procedures.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring that up because you've always been a champion of technology, the role that it's played in the prosperity of Americans, and you've been a very strong critic of Gary Gensler. You've urged accountability. What's going on there? Why? I mean, why? What do you think? What are they telling you about the inability to add clarification to this issue, making it worse?
We've got major questions, Charles. I mean, look, Gary Gensler and the SEC, apparently they had meetings last March with Sam Bankman-Fried and executives from FTX and a trading firm here in the U.S., and they were working apparently with Sam Bankman-Fried and others to give them special treatment from the SEC that others aren't getting. And they announced a partnership with this trading firm last April. We kept trying to find out what exactly the partnership is all about. We didn't get those answers. And obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried then was pushing special treatment legislation through Congress. And when it was finally revealed what it was, and the industry actually started raising red flags all over the place, that's when this thing came apart. And it's really a failure, it appears, of Gary Gensler to actually deal with the bad guys. You got to ask yourself, Charles, where was he on Celsius? Where was he on Voyager? Where was he on Terra Luna? And now, where was Gary Gensler on FTX? Yeah. This is exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And Terry was talking about that. What is the regulator responsible for this doing, going after good actors in the community and working backroom deals, it appears, with people who are doing nefarious things?
Representative, we got less than a minute to go, about 30 seconds. Sam Bankman-Fried supposed to be at a New York Times Dill book conference. Last I looked yesterday, he was still on the program, but they also added Ben Affleck. I don't know what that's all about, but I mean, he's still being feted by parts of the industry as some sort of wonder kind. I mean, what the heck is going on?
Thank you.
Charles, the New York Times is not the industry. I've stopped trying to understand the New York Times. They wrote a puff piece on him within the last week for some reason. Here's a guy who mismanaged funds, it appears. There's, a million investors out there. There's $10 billion, that $8 to $10 billion. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need to understand why Gary Gensler and the SEC were not doing their job. We need to understand how this was allowed to get to the point where people and their savings are getting hurt. Yeah. That's exactly what the regulator is supposed to be taking care of. Yeah. And by the way, it's not about crypto. Remember, this is about centralized finance. DeFi is the point. They're going after decentralized finance. This is not what it's about. Right. It's not about the crypto industry. This is about Sam Bankman-Fried. It's about the regulator, Gary Gensler, and it's about centralized finance, which needs to be brought under our regulatory umbrella. And Gary Gensler has done nothing to make that happen.
And I really hope you guys bring in Silicon Valley, which I think...
Man.
Finally, somebody speak.
Was that not refreshing to hear, huh?
It's you think there's merit to that? You think there's a partnership with FTX and the SEC? You think that like when I say partnership, I'm talking about like partnership. Like you think there's like actual like handshakes, like, okay, cool, yes, we are working with you, because from my understanding, the meetings were more about like figuring out regulation, figuring out what the SEC is going to do on the broader aspect. But, what about, actual like backdoor deals? Hey, you know what? We're working together on this, man. It's me and you, Sam. You think Gary Gensler was saying it's me and you, Sam? Like,
hey, walk like a duck, look like a duck, quack like a duck. I don't know.
I don't know. These duckies.
That's the thing. I won't be surprised. It won't be the first time, the government is somehow mixing this kind of stuff. So, nothing to surprise anymore.
Here's the, and to what Tom Emmer said, right? He said, you're going after good actors, right? It's like the whole thing where one person does something bad and then you punish everyone else when you try to find the root cause of the problem, right? Why did this happen? How is this guy allowed to fall through the cracks? And what can we do to fix it? Because if you just outright ban or outright regulate everything under one umbrella because of one person, and we know, guys, this isn't just crypto, it's everywhere. If you have that intent inside you, if you have the will to do these things that Sam Bankman-Fried does or that murderers do, then it doesn't matter how many rules and regulations there are, you will find a way. If you can't have access to a gun, you'll drive a car. If you'll build a bomb. Like, the point is, you can't just ruin an entire industry over one or two or three people. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
So it's just nice to get a different perspective.
But the game will change.
Well,
the game will change if we find out Gary Gensler knew about corruption, or at least had evidence of it across his desk and decided not to look into it because of a partnership that he had with Sam Bankman-Fried. And who knows, man, maybe there's money tied into this. If there is, that's a criminal liability, right? If you have bribes.
Of course it is.
From the
commissioner of the SEC, the chair of the SEC.
At this point, nothing would surprise me. And you know what? Millions and millions of dollars. I'm talking about like high level involvement in government as far as donations was funneled into politicians and into their campaigns. And to sit here and think that there is absolutely no correlation or tie in between the growth of FTX and the amount of money donated by Sam Bankman-Fried to both political parties, predominantly the Democratic Party, it's asinine to think that there's no threads interconnected there, right?
I agree.
And all I'm saying is, if the threads are interconnected between SBF and with Gary Gensler, and Gary Gensler knew things that he should have acted on, or if he just blindly ignored them, knowing that there was fraud and corruption, then we got a serious issue. This isn't like, oh, hey, the SEC, you should have caught this one. This is SEC. What the hell? Are you serious? Right?
I mean, so we know that we've heard that from both aisles, Republican and Democrat, they're kind of fed up with this guy. And, based on what Tom Emmer said, what the guy said, I mean, do you think there's a real chance Gary Gensler gets pushed out?
Oh, yeah. I think at this point, as you mentioned, there's been a lot of harm done across the entire financial landscape, not just in crypto. And you have VC funds, you have Kevin O'Leary, Mark Cuban, you have people that aren't even, that maybe 2 years ago weren't even associated with crypto, right? Or at least their names weren't.
Yeah.
And these were prominent, respected figures in the traditional finance world, and now their names are getting dragged through the mud. And I don't know. And this isn't new. So Tom Emmer this is his Twitter. So this was back in March 2016. So he's been ringing the bell on this. Obviously he's not referencing FTX here, but he says my office has received numerous tips from crypto and blockchain firms that SEC Chair Gary Gensler's.
I already read this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that, like, the fact that he's out here saying, he's name dropping Gary Gensler. Where I'm getting at is that if this regulation would have came in, if he would have been a little bit more open to actually getting some work done instead of going after Kim Kardashian and going after, what was that, Library and this whole Ripple lawsuit, if he would have focused his energy on maybe building a framework and exposing the real hazards, Terra Luna, Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, FTX, that's what's had
And guess who they all come back to, Robin? Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy he was meeting with all along.
And the thing is that instead of addressing that, Mayweather, Kim Kardashian, Library, Tornado Cash, this was where the focus of the administration was. And yet, as you mentioned, hey Sam, what's up, bro? We're in a partnership here, man. It's cool, man. Yeah, what you doing tomorrow? You want to play some golf? Let's go get some dinner.
So
That's what's been happening, man.
So when you say you will see against.
I mean, honestly, it would. You know what? To not even be funny, I'm not even trying to like shoot backwards and try to like stir the pot. It wouldn't surprise me if he was. It really wouldn't surprise me if this man moved out from the SEC chair and went to another department, and people were just over here clapping like, "Yeah, man, this guy's the." I mean. At what point is enough enough? I mean, what has to blow up for something to change, right? We blew up the crypto market. I mean, what do we got? What else do we got to blow up? Stock market's down. I mean, we got to have some kind of big conspiracy in the S&P 500 in the major tech stocks, or what?
For me, it was interesting, and what Tom Emmer said in that interview is, or well, I don't know if it was Tom Emmer, the CME guy. They said it wasn't going to stop at crypto. It was working its way through the traditional markets too. And so you got it. And that is why I really, really think, man, is his parents had more say in what Sam and FTX was doing than we even know. And I know, Robin, you're on the thing of he did everything. It was all on him. Man, I'm telling you, bro. There is no way his parents weren't at least talking in his ear.
There's no way. He leveraged his parents. He started a company and then they helped out. I still will not subscribe to the idea that he was some puppet or that he was I go look at the facts, man. Go down that rabbit hole. You know what? He was literally on an island. You don't isolate yourself any more than that than to be on an island.
So he can take phone calls from his parents.
Okay. His parents weren't at the compound.
They are now.
No, that's
Penthouse.
So they weren't at the FTX building. They weren't at the Alameda building where the trades were arbitraged, where people's funds were stolen, where the back door was put in place. His mom and dad didn't have nothing to do with that.
So you're saying they can't make a phone call?
Maybe they had working knowledge. Maybe they made Sam's life easier. But I'm telling you, dude, this dude, he knew everything that he was doing, and he's the one that facilitated it. And you can look at the people that have talked about this from his inner circle and his camp. The people that talked about this, they all said, if you didn't line up with Sam Bankman-Fried, you were out.
Rocco, do me a favor. Will you highlight that comment right under flat smack? No, one more down. The next flat smack. Right under is SBF free. One more down. There. Bam. Crypto community exposed the FTX fraud. If you want something done right, do it yourself. A bunch of crypto degens on Twitter and a CEO of an exchange were able to unravel this entire FTX thing when the guy behind it was literally having meetings with the freaking chairman of the SEC. He was also having meetings with the Fed chair, Jerome Powell. So don't tell me it's regulation. We need to regulate everything. It was literally under your nose, dude. It's literally under your nose. It's kind of sad.
But money will blind you, man. And you know what?
Do you think lobbying should be completely...
Oh, that's here forever.
But do you think it should be illegal?
It's here for. Here's the thing: if it does, you gotta campaign. That money's gotta come from somewhere.
It would even the playing field so much, dude. It would even the playing field.
Okay,
so much.
then what would be your answer? Hey, you can only receive campaign donations from nonprofit organizations.
I would almost rather them increase our tax by, let's say, 0.5% or sales tax by something. And give everyone the same allotment of money and let anyone run.
You're not going to funnel taxpayer money into campaign.
I would rather do that.
That has more fraud than anything else. At least let the rich people pay for this thing, not the
Why? So they can make the rules and regulation of the law.
You want the average Joe money to increase their taxes to pay for those stupid commercials and text messages that you get? You said
you got to run a campaign, right?
Like, stop. You're talking some serious nonsense right now, bro.
So your thing is let the rich people pay for it and get whatever they want and screw us over when we get destroyed on taxes anyways and they blow our money. What's the difference?
So you're saying, let me get this right, that we should increase taxes to pay for campaign commercials.
That was just one idea that popped in my mind.
That's a terrible
I don't know
idea.
the answer. Okay, so what's better? Letting the rich people continue to funnel millions of dollars and stuff like this happen all the time? Well, guess what? It doesn't hurt those people that get the money. It hurts me and you. It hurts the people watching.
Okay, give me one.
I'm just saying the system is broken, man.
Oh, give me one government that does it right.
I don't know one government that does it.
That's the problem.
What? So there's got to be a solution.
There's no solution.
Oh, that's BS. There's always a solution. There's always a solution.
If you want to run for political office, you need your name out to the masses. It's called advertising. If you want to have the number one freaking soda pop out there, you need to have the most advertising budget.
This is not private entities, bro. It's not business. Government and business is the same thing?
As far as marketing, what do you think a campaign is? It's marketing. The basis of marketing is get it in front of as many people as brand recognition. That's why when you do campaigns, you got all these Make America Great Again, change, you know what I mean? Like everybody has something because it's a brand. And then they put the brand in front of your face every minute of the day. That's why you got 1 million commercials. And you know what? I don't want to pay for those commercials. Hell nah. You know what? Like at the end of the day, like if you want to answer, how about this? No campaign money. And then just vote for some name on a card that nobody knows because they can't afford a budget. And then what do you get out of that? Then the only thing you're gonna get is celebrities that have a name to themselves getting elected. We're a crypto show. Why are we discussing what kind of campaign?
You guys getting warm up for the Thanksgiving dinner? That's what it is. Warm it up.
I am actually doing Thanksgiving dinner in California,
Yeah,
so I can be farther away from Melbourne.
why don't you at Thanksgiving dinner put your hat out and be like, guys, let's all put some money in, and we can pay for a commercial for the next candidate that we all choose to.
Or just do what
back.
Robin thinks and let the rich people run.
What
the country.
about?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, it is what it is, man. Like,
What about if it was a cap for each company? Like you can
I
donate.
think there is a
top
cap. I think there is.
But
I'm
maybe it's
not-
too much, like millions of dollars instead. You know,
I'm not
25
too well
it's
versed.
the
$50,000,
name of the
that's it.
game, bro. It's the
Yeah.
name of the game, man.
after you reach a cap, you get donate $1 million.
It's
you can't
like
get it anymore.
you saw how much fraud and cheating happened with college sports when athletes weren't allowed to take any money and everybody else was making money. It's like saying, like, hey, you politician, well, I want you to pass laws and not take any money, and then see what happens on the back end. There's gonna be all kinds of like little private deals going on, all kinds of corruption. At least now you know who is giving money out. At least now when something blows up, you'll be like, yo, Sam Bankman-Fried, second biggest donor. I'd rather that than it to be like you're not allowed to donate, and then later on there's this giant conspiracy where people are like, you know, where you had the Watergate scandal where people were giving Nixon literally briefcases of cash. Like they were flying people across the country to give Nixon briefcases of cash. So,
All right, let's move on. Rocco, I have a question. When we do the verses, who's in blue, who's in red?
I gotta check it out. I don't remember.
All right. Not super important, but all right. Let's get into the crypto markets to see what crypto's doing. We know Litecoin has been absolutely pumping. So, Robin, what do you got for us, my friend?
let's take a peek. 1 second.
By the way, you are the blue.
I'm blue. Thank you very much.
All right. So Bitcoin's coming in at $16,454, and it is up for the day. Down from yesterday was a scary day, man. I'm telling you, we might have bottomed. I think, barring some other
Robin,
bankruptcy.
we have too much uncertainty with these miners, bro.
No, I'm
mean,
just
if
saying-
Core Scientific goes under, you know Bitcoin's.
I'm saying, barring, if there is no, I feel comfortable saying this. If there's no more bankruptcy, which Genesis is on the verge of bankruptcy,
We're gonna talk about
Core
that.
Scientific is on the verge of bankruptcy, and
By the way, real quick before you move on, do you think it was weird that Core Scientific came out 3 months ago and said if we don't have more cash, we got to file bankruptcy? Don't you think that's a little odd?
Okay, no, you know what they did? It was 2 months ago. They said, "Hey, we're not paying our debts," and you know what? At the end of the day, you can't say I'm not paying any debts back and not mention bankruptcy. So honestly, they're just like, "Hey, man, let's see how long we keep this boat floating. We're not gonna pay any debts. See what happens."
I mean, their stock just plummeted after
Yeah,
that. But
that's what happened. But anyway, I was reading an article on them. I don't know.
Core Scientific?
Yeah, are you talking about them today?
No.
So, here, I'll actually pull it up real quick. So, Core Scientific might not make it past November 2023 after revealing 1.7 billion in losses. How do I get this damn thing out of here? So, this is the largest publicly traded Bitcoin miner company. And in its quarterly report filed with the SEC, the company said substantial doubt exists in its ability to continue going as it failed to raise liquidity. So nobody, as we've talked about several times, nobody is handing out any capital. Nobody's bailing anybody out. Everybody's hemorrhaging cash.
will you scroll down, Rob?
Yeah, what's up?
Net loss. I'm trying to look at that statement there.
Yeah, this statement is. Let me see if I can't open this up.
Here, just Control Plus. Make that sucker bigger. Scroll down. There you go. Yeah, I mean, just their revenue. Look at their hosting revenue from customers. It actually went up.
Yeah. So
3 months
revenue's
versus-
down 50% from. Okay, never mind. The left is where it is.
That's 3 months. 3 months, 9 months.
Right. So, anyways, yeah, they don't think that they'll make it through November. And this is
So this says November.
Is their reporting to the SEC. So this isn't like
But this is also okay. So I'm a little confused here, right? So this says November 2023. The article we talked about yesterday said they're not going to make it to the end of the year. Their balance sheet is $30 million.
November 2023.
I don't know, man. I think it's far from over. With I don't think mine is that fully capitulated.
But here's the thing: they still have the ASICs. You know what I mean? Like you can still, theoretically liquidate assets and stay afloat. I mean, if you've ever played Monopoly, I mean, you can owe somebody a crazy amount of money. You can just
liquidate your assets, Robin.
What's that?
How are you going to stay afloat if you liquidate your ASICs?
I'm saying you can stay afloat on the long term. You can liquidate assets to pay short term debt.
But if their assets are ASICs and then they can't use those,
I'm just saying. Your question was, how do you stay up afloat till November for one
it's
full
not
year?
Selling the very equipment that you need to make money.
Well, if they sold all their Bitcoin, they've
already sold their Bitcoin. They only have 32 Bitcoin
That's
left.
what I'm saying. If you sold your Bitcoin,
32 Bitcoin.
If you want to, okay, they are the largest miner of Bitcoin. They have the most ASICs. So if your question is, how are you going to make it to November 2023? You sell some of the ASICs. That's it. I know that's against their business model, but you know what? If you owe $5,000 this month in bills and you only have $2,000, but you're sitting on $100,000 worth of equity, you sell some stuff off. You sell 5% of it this week in hopes that the market bounces back before November 23.
But here's the problem, Robin. Yes, they have a lot of ASICs, right? But the problem is a lot of those ASICs aren't profitable mining because the price is at a certain level. And so now
exactly, you sell some of them.
But no, who's gonna buy ASICs that are only valuable at $25,000 Bitcoin?
I'm saying that there's gonna be a buyer, whether or not it's at the price that you want. You got to understand, when you're in emergency mode, you do whatever you can. If you're not trying to file bankruptcy, you got to do what you can. And if your ASICs cost $1,000 per ASIC, I know they're way more than that, and you can only sell them for $600, you take the $600. Same thing when you're playing Monopoly. When you're over here, your boardwalk costs $400, you mortgage it, you get what, $180 or whatever it is. You know you're not getting the return on value. But if you're just trying to make it through a certain time period and you just need to generate enough cash to pay your interest payments, then that's what you got to do. And they got a crap ton of ASICs. And if they got to step back and go from number 1 to number 8 and then rebuild from there, so be it. I mean, your question to me is, how are you going to make it to November 2023? It's not like they have no plan. It's not like they just
said
threw
they're running
this.
out of cash
It's not
by
like
the
they
end of
just
this year.
threw this number out there and was just like, you know what? November 2023 sounds like a good day. I have no reason or no plan on making it that far. No, I'm sure that if they were asked, like, how are you going to make it to November 2023? Be like, well, we have these assets. We're going to liquidate these, whatever. We're going to sell them at a loss. We understand that we're taking a step back, but it's the benefit of the company long term. Like that's what companies do.
What kind of voice was that? Is that a lawyer voice?
No, that's an intellectual voice. Something you lack, man.
I like intellectual. We're not going to get into this. It's Thanksgiving, guys. All right, let's go back to the markets. Take a look at what we got here. I know ETH kind of had a nice little pump yesterday, Rob. Right, 7% or something.
ETH. Let's take a look.
Yes, Ether. The
is that
for Ethereum?
Is that a crypto?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So you have Ethereum at 1,159. We were teetering at that $1,000 mark, which was, that's the last line of support. If somebody's storming the castle, that is the front door there. And once that thing comes down, it's
King of the castle.
So Litecoin, big pump today. And for the week. And it's kind of surprising. Litecoin's up 35%.
Well, you know why? Right?
And the
you know why
comparison.
it's up, right?
Why don't you inform me, David?
Mr. Saylor actually said Litecoin might be the closest thing to Bitcoin. Or it's something to that nature. And so Litecoin just started ripping, dude.
Wow. Is he the new Elon?
I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. But
this is my stance here. Whether or not you believe in Litecoin or not, and you know what, it is a cheaper, faster Bitcoin. Essentially, is what it is, right? It's a cheaper, faster Bitcoin.
Why it's called Litecoin.
And so, but did it fundamentally change?
Well, they had the Nimble-Wimble, bro.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is that in the last week, has Litecoin fundamentally changed? Is something significantly better about Litecoin than it was as far as a project than it was last week? And so the answer to that is no.
Well, Chemo Crypto is saying that the halvening for Litecoin is in 4 months.
So I would expect us to pull back. That's all I'm
I
saying.
hope Tom Crown's not watching. Tom, I know you're a big Litecoin guy. I've been a public hater on Litecoin. I just don't think it has done anything. But Robin talks about this all the time. Longevity, right? How many bear markets have you gone through? How long have you been in the space? How long have people been using you? And so they have that, right?
Your only gripe on Litecoin is that it doesn't do enough stuff.
But like
and yet you're a big NFT guy. You're all into NFTs.
To me, it's a dead project.
You're in this whole like NFTs are going to change the world. These JPEGs,
because of the technology. Litecoin's technology isn't anything different than what we already have in the space. It's a dead project.
So you think that a Bored Ape is going to change the world?
It's not the Bored Ape, bro. It's a technology with NFTs.
I agree. NFTs
I think JPEGs were just like the Trojan horse. Let's get the technology in here via JPEGs. And then so people can see what it can do.
So you think JPEGs or you think the JPEG style NFTs are Trojan horse?
That Why do you twist my words, man?
Those are your words. I didn't twist anything.
I'm just
literally
saying.
said.
I think the technology.
You said it, and I was like, okay. So you think NFTs are a Trojan horse? That it's filled with soldiers trying to take over the castle?
All right, man. What the hell is this show come to?
You know what? I just want to add something else. Back in the days, I ended up to have big bags of Litecoin when Charlie Lee decided to sell it all.
You sold it too?
No, that's the thing. I ended up with a bag of Litecoin for nothing, and then the things drop. I feel like the Litecoin is the Solana of the Bitcoin.
Wow, the Solana of Bitcoin.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
Sean said Litecoin. Same great taste, less filling than Bitcoin. Sean, we miss you, man. Sean's a funny dude. All right. I don't know where the hell we were. Guys, we do have some unfortunately bad news. So our guest, we had to reschedule, unfortunately. So she will not be joining us today, but we will be getting her on the show next week. It's going to be a great one. But today's show, still going to be fire. You know what? Let's take a look at what Litecoin says on the charts, right? So there is some good news on the lower time frames for Litecoin.
TA, here we go.
Let's go, baby.
Wow, that's been a while. Let me go back in time with this one.
So we're seeing nice volume, but volume is decreasing. And if I throw the Bollinger Bands on, this thing is probably starting to, there we go. So the Bollinger Bands are starting to converge. And so anytime we see Bollinger Bands constrict like this, you see an explosive move. In this case, we saw a huge move from, $60 to all the way up to over $83. And so we're seeing the same thing. Volume is decreasing. We're seeing big candles on volume on green days, which is good. But we bullish, we are in, let me get rid of this Bollinger Band here. Bullish, we are in a bull flag. You know me, I like flags. This is a beautiful bull flag, move up, descending channel. If we go to Crypto Stackers Pro, which by the way, if you want simplified TA and you guys want like the easiest strategy on how to DCA in, DCA out, I'm gonna show you how easy it is, okay? You literally, here, and I'll get rid of this. You literally put my face in the screen, Rocco. You literally you literally take any coin in the top 100. You see these 3 lines? You click it, okay? These are called easy bands. When the price is between the dashed and the solid green easy band, you DCA in. When the price moves outside of that region in this area, you don't do anything. And once it enters above this red dashed easy band, you just DCA out. If you literally do that, you won't have to worry about timing the top, timing the bottom, and you will always be profitable. And if you want to sign up, the link, affiliate link is in the description of this video. And so let's go back to what I was doing. So I was looking at the short levels on Litecoin, and I'm just going to go ahead and take I'm going to take today's high, which we wicked all the way up to $82.63. And so what are some levels we can see? Because we know, right? Whatever goes up must come down, right? Litecoin's not going to pump to $700 without at least a few significant retracements. And so what levels can we expect it to retrace at? The 3x short level, which is at $61.97. A more important level, in my opinion, we've seen it price channel between the 2 and the 3x level, and we've seen it bump up against this level 3 times before finally breaking out, is the 2x short level. So $55. So if there's massive sell pressure, Litecoin dips, and it gets to $55, I would be looking at entering Litecoin, entering in a long position on Litecoin. Of course, not financial advice, but that would be an excellent price to be able to get in, scalp some profits, swing trade Litecoin. Bitcoin, the big brother to Litecoin. So this is the 1 hour chart on Bitcoin. I have the 15,887 line and the 16,274 line drawn here. You can see we broke above. And as we do when we want to see a retest and claim resistance as support now, is you want to see a blow up above followed by a retest, which we saw. And so in the, at least in the micro sense, 16,274 is an excellent level of support. If you bought down here, you'd be up about $200 per coin. And if you're a leverage trader, which I do not recommend unless you know what the hell you're doing, you'd be in a nice profit area there. So Bitcoin looking good. In the short term, at least. In the long term, not so much. But what I really liked seeing this, a W-shaped recovery here. We saw a double bottom and then a spring up all the way to 16.2, down from 15.6. So we know there's still buyers. Buying pressure is there. It's just these miners, guys. These miners, every single day, believe 700-800 Bitcoin is mined. And so if they're forced to liquidate, majority of those, of course, you don't need a genius to tell you, there's going to be sell pressure. One last thing I want to talk about is Bitcoin balance on exchanges. I've been showing this a lot lately. What's interesting to me is Coinbase was number one, okay? Which made sense because they were the premier custodian for institutional investors, and they were also the go-to exchange for miners. So miners, when they would go sell their Bitcoin, they would give it to Coinbase, right? OTC. Now that's completely flipped. Over the last 7 days, we've seen over 127,000 Bitcoin flow into Binance. Well, to the contrary, we've seen close to 50,000 Bitcoin leave Coinbase. And you might be asking yourself, well, why might that be? Well, here's one reason why that might be, is CZ. And so, Rob, I'm curious to get your take on CZ, Robin. Coinbase CEO reaffirms exchange's Bitcoin holdings after CZ tweeted, Brian Armstrong is reassuring users about the financial health of the NASDAQ-listed crypto exchange Coinbase, following a potentially damaging tweet, which has since been deleted.
These dudes have been beefing on Twitter, bro.
They have.
They've been. If you've been following along, CZ basically was saying, don't believe, or he called into question how much Bitcoin was on Coinbase's accounts. And he gave a really low number. And then Coinbase was like, yo, we're a publicly traded company. This is how much Bitcoin we have. This ain't something I'm dropping. This is public information. And apparently they hold $2 million or 2 million Bitcoin, which is more than Satoshi's own Bitcoin. It's kind of crazy. So, we always say Grayscale is the largest holder of Bitcoin. They are.
Well, who holds Grayscale's Bitcoin?
But who's holding Grayscale's crypto plus all of, half of, so they have 500,000 on, Coinbase has 500,000 on exchanges. Yeah. So they have, how much is, was it?
400 some.
For Grayscale?
Oh, no, Grayscale is over 600,000.
Yeah, so 600,000
on the exchange
Grayscale
is 400.
So they're custodying 600,000 from Grayscale. They have 500,000 in their own platform, which leaves 0.9 million or 900,000. Sorry, I'm over
That's
here.
right too. 0.9 million.
Is it right? Okay. So 900,000. So they have 900,000 Bitcoin in cold storage, I would assume. That's
what they're saying.
Yeah. And anyways, yeah, these two guys are beefing, bro. I've been over here with some popcorn just like watching this. I'm like, ooh, CZ
Rob,
and Brian Armstrong.
Rob, let me finish reading this, and I'm going to ask you a question about CZ. But first, throw up that super chat again, Rocco. Crypto Billy said driving, but wanted to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you for bringing up this great channel. Billy, thank you first and foremost for your super chat. Second most, thank you for being a well member of this channel and supporting us. And third most, thank you for being a part of our community in general.
You know, speaking of Thanksgiving, you know, I'm good at interrupting and steering us off topic.
What are you
here.
thankful for with me? What are you thankful for with me?
How much would you pay for a turkey?
No, I want to hear your answer. What are you thankful for me? Come on, bro. It's okay to get a little sentimental.
From you?
Yeah. Bro, we've been grinding away for over a year. I spent more time with you than with my kids. Tell me what you're thankful for.
I'm thankful that you decided to wear new t-shirts, because when we first started this show, the t-shirts were so bust. He had like the bacon neck.
You know what, Robin? You know what I'm thankful for,
and
my
I'm
friend?
glad you finally came around on your dress code.
You know, Robin, I'm thankful for the vision you brought to Sin City Crypto and wanting to go all out, built out the studio. I doubted you, my friend, but you were 100% right. That's what I'm thankful for.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. It's a nice shirt you got there.
Thank you.
Nice shirt. Do you like my shirt? I got Albert Einstein at a Vegas casino. You sitting here. Like, I mean, what else says Vegas and intellectuality?
Yeah.
Is that a word? Intellectuality? Okay.
Sure.
So back to my
According to Robin's dictionary, it is.
Back to my off-topic question.
Okay.
Here. How much would you pay for a turkey?
How much would I pay for a turkey?
Yes.
Like a live one or a?
Sure, live or dead. You know,
Probably
what I mean,
about $350. $350 for live, $250 for dead.
You can't pay. No, I'm talking a whole turkey, man. They're not $3. Like,
no, $350, bro. $350 for a live one.
You pay $350 for a live turkey?
Hell yeah! I'd play with that dude. We'd play catch. We'd run around. My kids would love it. And then that's it, bro. Thanksgiving dinner, baby. Let's go. Don't report me to PETA, please. Did you see Joe Biden talking to the turkey, the White House turkey?
Was he talking to him? Stop.
You put the microphone. No. Rocco, please find it. Please find it, Rocco.
I'll find it.
All right, I'm going back. Let's get back on topic.
Hold on, man. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I'm not done yet.
All right.
Now, what if the Bitcoin, or what if this turkey was holding Bitcoin? Would you? Yeah, I'm just saying. What if this turkey was holding Bitcoin, which is a great segment to Turkey seizes assets from FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. And so
That's where you're going.
Turkey authorities have seized assets. This is not the one on your table, but the one across the pond has seized assets from former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
The Ankara-based state-run news agency has added that the assets of FTX affiliates have been confiscated, as well as an investigation over fraud allegations. The new probe launched by the Financial Crimes Investigation Board.
MASAC.
That's right. So I am thankful for my turkey that I'm going to be eating tomorrow. I'm also thankful for the country.
Do you think the country of Turkey is going to seize those assets and then maybe try to help with their inflation?
They already are known to be anti-crypto.
Yeah.
So Turkey, not friendly to crypto.
There's a dump coming on the market,
which is funny 100%. Because they're like, hey man, we don't want any of our nobody use crypto. But then they're like, hey,
yeah, they're gonna come.
Let me get that crypto off you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, can we get back on topic here, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you. All right. So in the article I went over 10 minutes ago, which we somehow went all the way across there, it goes on to say in his now deleted tweet, CZ quoted a news report that said Coinbase Custody, which provides the custody solutions to institutional investors and holds the 635,000 Bitcoin on behalf of Grayscale. He ended the tweet by quoting another news report from 4 months ago that said Coinbase had less than 600K Bitcoin and said he assumed the second report was for the Coinbase exchange. CZ subsequently acknowledged he'd been informed by Mr. Armstrong that the numbers quoted in the article were wrong, and he deleted his previous tweet. Robin, are we seeing, is what CZ's doing is right? Okay, so he's tweeting this stuff out, right? Knowing it's going to cause a bank run, knowing it's going to scare people. He's doing this and in the name of transparency. Is there an ulterior motive, do you think? Or do you think he's really this like, oh my God, he loves crypto so much. He cares too much about the, like, well, where do you land? You're pretty good at judging character. Where do you land? I know you never met him before, but you know, look at everything you've seen him say and do.
I am very weary as of lately. I've been burned. I'm very weary of the savior and the man put on a pedestal as of lately. Because I remember when we were at Bitcoin Miami, we were dumb excited to go meet and talk to Alex Mashinsky.
Yep.
And then before, when we first got kind of a glimpse of FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, maybe late 2020, we were like, oh, this dude's a genius. This dude's got he's got crypto. He's the next crypto savant.
Oh, he's saving Voyager. He's saving the space.
And then now, tell me it's not eerily similar that you have. I have nothing to go on this. I'm just saying right now I've been burned. I'm sorry. You can take it back to my dating times where
Wait,
you date three blondes, and then you date three blondes, you meet the fourth one, and you're just like, you seem like a nice girl, but I've been scarred, and I don't have anything to go about this. I have nothing to say other than
Elizabeth Warren is blonde.
She's a beautiful woman, man.
I know, Rob. It's been a long time, bro. What's up with story time?
Been a long time, huh?
No, we don't want to hear that. That's dumb. You have an actual story of when you dated a blonde? A blonde story? Come on, bro. Give us the juice. It's Thanksgiving.
You want a story? Sure.
We want a story.
Sure, why not? Story
time. Wow, I never thought I'd be excited for story time. What are the odds? Rocco doesn't even know where the button is anymore. Do we have a button? There we go.
Oh, man. So, one of my first girlfriends, she was blonde. And, the funny thing was that I thought I was sneaky. I thought I was, I used to be a dog back in my day. I think I've cleaned up pretty nice. Maybe not on the beard, but, I was talking to some other girl that I was interested in. And nothing
you
like...
were double dipping?
Yeah, I was double dipping,
Damn, bro.
And so...
let me guess. Hold on. Your firstborn was your daughter, correct?
Yeah.
Here it is.
So shut up. So, anyways, I had changed her number in my phone to just J, right, for the first letter of her name, and then she had saw the name J in text messages, and then one day she's just like, you must think I'm stupid. She's like, you changed her name to J, like I wouldn't figure out who it is, and I'm just like, she's like looks at the number, she's like, I know this number, and I was like, oh. My bad. And then later on, I had so then I started deleting all the numbers, all the text message evidence. And so then I was good, right? I was like, yeah, you can go through my phone if you want to. You can look at the context. It's all good. Everything's deleted. But then I come home one day and I put all this together. I come home one day and I'm like walking through my house and I see all these little pieces of paper ripped up everywhere on the floor. I'm like, the hell is this about? And I look and and then there's like little highlights. So some of the pieces of paper have highlighter on them, before they got ripped. And then I'm like, man, this is weird. And so I'm picking up the pieces and I realize it's a cell phone bill. And so I got my cell phone bill statement. This was back in the day when they used to mail out, all your
phone number,
yeah, everything. And so she had went through and she highlighted the number every time I received a text message, and then confettied all the paper and threw them everywhere. And so that was. Did
you get the message? Pun intended. Oh man, that's funny. Dynamic crypto. I don't think I've seen dynamic crypto in here. What's up, my friend? All right, let's get back to the theme of today's show, which we've kind of got a little away from, and we apologize, guys.
Well, this is what we do here, man.
It's what we do. We have fun. We can bring you great insight.
If you want to watch 2 hours of straight Bitcoin's last cycle had hit this moment, and now the RSI is flipped, and Michael Saylor has affirmed that he is buying more Bitcoin. Like, we ain't about that, man. You know what? We got weird-ass signs, stupid-ass stories, and fun T-shirts. That's what we do here. Hit the like button.
Oh, my boy Brad Marshall is in here. What's up, Brad? Oh, Brad, what an amazing guy.
He said great info. He must be talking about my dating.
He said, sup, David. Not Robin, David. Great info.
He's definitely talking about my dating history. And
Brad, amazing person. I'm trying to get Brad on the show here. We'll figure it out. All right. Let's move on to New York. Okay, so New York Governor Hochul signs a moratorium on the proof of work mining. I did mention this in the beginning of the show. She had signed a bill cracking down on crypto mining in the state of New York. The bill imposes a 2-year moratorium on new permits for proof-of-work mining operations that rely on carbon-based fuel to power their activities. She goes on to say, quote, "I will ensure that New York continues to be the center of financial innovation while also taking important steps to prioritize protection for our environment." An earlier version of the crypto mining bill, which called for a 3-year moratorium, died in the assembly in June of last year. Well, just knock a year off and you can be born again. And so that's what happened with New York. But staying on the topic of New York, as from the New York Fed advisor, stablecoins could offer central banks a shortcut. This is pretty interesting. Stablecoins could offer central banks a shortcut to having their own digital currencies, a New York Federal Reserve advisor said at an event in London on Tuesday, aka yesterday. Instead of issuing a retail CBDC, central banks could support stablecoins by allowing them to be backed 1-for-1 with balances in a central bank account. Pretty interesting. Adapting our regulatory and legislative environment to support stablecoins is already a formidable task, but it is probably easier than managing a CBDC for retail use, especially as the private sector currently provides all retail digital means of payments on legacy technology. Rob.
So what does this got to do with the Bitcoin
mining?
Yeah.
Nothing. I just decided to couple them because it was New York.
I was like trying to figure out.
Probably a bad decision, but definitely a bad decision.
Confused there. Okay.
Definitely bad. That's my bad. All right. So
I thought I was, sometimes I just don't pay attention. I get lost and I was like, did I miss something?
Let's go back. Okay. So let's start with the mining thing. Okay. So 3 years down to 2 years, it says any crypto company or mining company that essentially uses fossil fuels, they will not be getting any licenses. Well, does it mean that if do you use fully renewable? Does that mean if you like they're saying they want to be the epicenter of financial innovation?
Here's the thing, you can't trace every bit of your energy unless you're straight up hooked to a hydroelectric dam or to a wind farm. And so if you're plugging into to a grid, like at least make it like a percentage or make it like some kind of auditable where like, hey, you know what? They're making an effort to use green energy. But to sit here and say like it's all or nothing, it's a little absurd. No other industry are they doing this. No other industry, you see Exxon, you see all these other companies, they get what is it, carbon credits, and they get like a certain level of pollutants they can emit. Like everybody has this like threshold or window, and it's just like, why are you passing a law? It's like, yeah, you got to use 100% green energy or that's it and nothing. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously, is that how we run industry out here? I mean, do you think it should just, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to do the law, if you're that concerned about green and energy and the damage crypto does to the community, which I can argue against that all day long, but I'm just saying, if that's the narrative you want to go with, then at least make it some actual like model that somebody can work with, and not hey, well, I'm plugged into a dam, so I'm good. Like other than that, and like you're screwed, right?
I mean, you would assume so. I just, we're not going to get into this whole climate change and, fossil fuels bad, but even if you go fully like these electric vehicles, well, guess what powers them? Right? Guess what you have to use to build these battery or charging stations or whatever. All I'm saying is how much oil and emissions are wasted every single year, whether it's excess methane being burned off from these oil companies. Why do you think these oil companies, these oil refineries, right, the companies that run the oil refineries, are starting to get into mining Bitcoin? Shell has announced they're doing it. ExxonMobil has announced they're doing it. So because they understand, and so no one ever says anything about that. No one ever says, hey, oil companies, refineries, figure out a way to stop this excess leaking of methane gas, or you can't operate here. You don't hear them saying that stuff, do you? But when it comes to innovation of something new, they're like, oh, no, you can't do it. So what do you think?
I do want to give a quick shout out to some of our new people in the chat. So if you're new here, say hello so that we can drop an hola for you. And in case you're wondering, the hola does not have an H. So our new people here is Young Chi, Handerpants. I think he's been here before.
Handerpants.
And then you got Leroy N, AC Hook, and XRP Analia. Anai.
Oh my God, Robin. You know, for someone who has an ethnic background, right? Your mom's from Portugal, right? You're ethnic, okay? You have zero like.
Okay, you know, I got a confession. I got a confession to make. Want to hear?
What? You're not really Portuguese.
No, I am. I'm Portuguese. So I speak Portuguese fluently. I actually don't know how to read Portuguese.
I speak Armenian.
Does that
No,
surprise you?
because I speak Armenian fluently. I just don't know how to read Armenian.
Okay.
Same thing.
I mean, I can. You know what? I can read if I'm like trying to get by. So I'm at the train station.
So
and I'm trying to like
reading
figure it out.
problem?
I'm just saying it's not my strongest.
So if I read out a name and you can repeat after me, you can say it right.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Spelling bee crypto. Within the name.
All right, Rob, you want to give your take on? You have anything to add to this stablecoin bill? So they're saying retail CBDC is going to be hard. Why don't you just regulate stablecoins and give them access to a Fed account, have them be backed 1-to-1, and have the Fed use that? Interesting. What are your thoughts on that, Robin?
I think that's
Is that the best way to go?
I think that's what's gonna. I've talked about private stable coins being the go-to for CBDCs. At least they're real. So the same way that you have a Shiba Inu coin, is Shiba Inu's a ERC20. I can see a CBDC being an ERC20. Maybe it's not on the Ethereum network, but I think it makes sense for them not to create their own chain, to use another stable coin. And you know what? If somebody else is already doing it and the technology is tested and proven, why build a whole nother infrastructure? Just use what they have and put your stamp on it.
I mean, that would make the most financial sense for me, at least. Not saying I'm with CBDCs.
It would, but here's the thing. That I think that makes a lot of sense. But realistically, the Fed is probably going to create their own infrastructure, top to bottom. They see fit to best run their own system and to best monitor their own system as well.
Interesting topics. All right, let's move on. So we have an update on Genesis, and Genesis calls in restructuring expert in its fight to avoid bankruptcy. Now, Robin, tell me where you've heard this one before. Calls in restructuring expert to avoid bankruptcy. Where have you heard this before? Maybe Voyager? Maybe Celsius? Maybe every other freaking company that goes bankrupt. This is where it starts. Like, I have zero doubt in my mind Genesis is going on.
Here's the thing. Like, this is fine. I'm still in the, and this actually happens. You know, companies restructure all the time, and companies teeter on bankruptcy, and there's always rumors of it. But there's one thing that is in common with all of these is that they get a fresh injection of capital to keep them afloat. And right now in crypto, I'm telling you, nobody's throwing money out. And so if you're going to restructure, you got to come up with some money because you're in the hole. They're in the hole bad. $500 million is the latest estimate. I know it's over $1 billion.
500 million to $1 billion.
Yeah. And so that you gotta raise that capital. And the thing is you ain't raising that capital by selling any of your altcoins at a discount and crashing the market. Imagine them trying to sell Decentraland. I know that's DCG, but I'm just saying that, like,
I do have a question. It's a little confusion. So about the SPF, why? I mean, the guy is in the Bahamas. Why is free? Why is not arrested yet? Well, I don't understand how the things works. Why is not in jail yet?
It's a company that is based out of the Bahamas, outside of the U.S. Now there is tons of ties to U.S. And so you here in the United States, you can't charge somebody twice for the same crime. So let's say
Double jeopardy.
But it's being charged in the Bahamas, right?
So what I'm saying is that if you were to kill somebody, for example, and they might take months and months, sometimes years, to bring on a murder charge because they need to have all the evidence gathered to form a case that's rock solid that, can't, because he's going to have some good lawyers. And so the same is said here. And there's going to be, without a doubt, criminal charges brought upon Sam Bankman-Fried.
By the moment.
The thing is one, it's probably difficult to gather evidence because the company's based in the Bahamas. And so they're not publicly traded. So the process of gathering evidence is probably a little cumbersome right now, but it's coming. And they have to get enough evidence to file charges and have an iron solid case because his mom is literally a lawyer. And so he's going to have probably the best defense team of anybody going against the Department of Justice. And so you gotta get it right. The last thing we want is to send out to rush some charges, not have evidence, and then him get off scot-free. I'd rather us drag this out, get it right, make sure this dude serves time. And that's going to take some time.
I think this guy, so at this moment in the Bahamas, has not been charged with anything, right? In the Bahamas.
No, not from the Bohemian police.
Wow.
And
that's bad.
well, I mean, how much money do you think he brought it to the Bahamas?
A lot.
I mean, honestly, like,
Yeah.
you can look at criminals residing in foreign countries. You can look at Cuba, some South American countries. I just know this is closer to home. Well, there's been some drug kingpins and some people from the mob back in the 80s that resided in some of these countries, and they brought so much economic value to the GDP of these countries that a lot of times they drag their feet on getting rid of them. And one thing, once all these assets get seized and there's no more spending and there's no more money for the Bahamas to make, and it becomes more advantageous for them to work with another guy, and the U.S. is like, yo, we want his ass, extradite him. Here's the charges. Otherwise, you're going to get hit with sanctions, or otherwise, diplomacy is going to struggle in your country if you don't extradite this dude. Then at that point, it becomes more financially beneficial for the Bahamas to take action. But right now, there's no charges. And so because there's no charges, dude's still spending money. He's obviously sitting over here in the restaurant throwing cash around. So that's the unfortunate situation is that right now, dude's living lavish, but it ain't going to be for long. Dude's going to get locked up. I'm not worried about that.
I heard there's a bounty team that's looking to find Sam.
Well, they don't need to find it. They know exactly what it is.
Well, yeah, there's
is the Ritz-Carlton.
The thing is the bounty team, you can't send a bounty hunter because there's no charges out for him. There's no arrest warrant.
I mean, I'm sure you can make a deal under the table, right, Gary Gensler?
Yeah. Oh, but as soon as there's an arrest warrant, you can go down there as a bounty hunter. If you agree to work with the government. So.
Oh.
Unless you just tranquilize his ass. and then take a private jet.
Guys, do me a favor.
What is it?
Not
the like
you,
button?
Rocco guys.
No.
Community guys. If you haven't followed us on Twitter, please go follow us. Rocco, take there. At Sin City Crypto 1. We post memes. We post stories. We give our opinion. We post to post. We post Robin's cat, his bird. We post a lot of things. So in all seriousness, go follow us on Twitter.
And you'll catch fun things like this here, which is Joe Biden interviewing a turkey.
Okay.
Okay, there is audio there?
God love you. 9.5 million turkeys. I'll tell you what, that's like some of the countries I've been to. Anyway, you want to talk?
Back up, bro.
How many turkeys?
What does he mean by that? Like some of the countries I've been to?
I don't know. I'm not trying to break this one down.
Yeah, me neither. All right, guys, go check out our merch store. Go follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And Rocco?
What is the finger?
We will not be airing tomorrow and Friday.
We are taking 2 days off. Watching World Cup with some fam. Yes, we are not back tomorrow or Friday. We will be back Monday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so our normal time. You guys, to all of our community members, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy time with family. Try to stay away from the drama. You know, there's that one cousin or uncle who's going to drink too much and start spilling beans or whatever the hell they do nowadays. So happy Thanksgiving, my friends. We love you guys. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, we'll see you next week. Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.